Head to Safeway this week and enjoy these amazing deals. Clip coupons from the weekly mailer or download them from the Safeway app to breeze through checkout. Get Overjoyed Boutique Dozen Roses for $24.99. Hand-dipped Belgian chocolate-covered strawberries, 4 to 18 counts, start at $7.99 per package. USDA Choice Boneless Beef Top Sirloin Steak Value Pack or Boneless Beef Tri-Tip Roast Untrimmed Twin Pack, just $5.99 per pound member price. Visit Safeway.com for more details. See you in the aisles.
Welcome to the Going to Killing City podcast, a historical look at murder in Kansas City. Here are your hosts, Jamie Green and Alex Greenwood.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy 2024 to my brother. You know, people ask us, Alex, all the time, do we actually see each other? And we used to, but I have not seen you since we taped our December episode. And to you and your family, a very happy new year. How are you, my friend? How are you, sir?
I was going to say, I haven't seen you since last year. And I did that to my daughter, by the way. She's like, Dad,
she loved it.
No, she's like that corny joke, Dad, every year. I'm like, well, I didn't see you since last night. Anyway, but no, it's going to help you and yours had a good one. Yeah, we had a great holiday season. You know, lots of fun, good rest. Of course, I'm ready and raring to go to Killing City. What about you? How was your holiday? Was it good?
It was lovely. We had a very nice holiday. It was good. My older son graduated from college, and
oh my goodness,
I know it's hard to believe since I'm only 35, but he did that, and he came home for like 10 days. He started a new job, but not until after the first year. So he just kind of got to hang out, and we had a nice time, and everybody was good and healthy and happy and no complaints. So it's very nice to do it. I love Christmas. It's just a great holiday. So.
Yeah, me too. And as much as I really did the whole fall season, because I love fall, everything from, you know, the middle of October all the way through New Year's Day is like my favorite time of year into the winter. And as much as I always make a point to say enjoy this while it lasts, because my daughter's 15.
Oh my gosh.
Right, and has less and less time for the old man. I wanted to make sure we did tons of stuff, but guess what? It was not enough.
No, it's just crazy. I swear to God, once they get to be about middle school age, it just flies by. It just flies.
It does.
Because you're not like making sure that they have, you know, the right outfit, and you're not going to all their little, you know, school stuff as much. I mean, I know you go to her volleyball matches, but it's just different. And then it's just, and they're 18 and they're out of your house. It's crazy. It's crazy how quickly, when they're 2 and having a tantrum and driving you insane, you think they're never going to grow up. And like, why do you, every time we'd put the Will in the car, and like a day like today in the dead of winter, he would always take his shoes off instantly, double tied, didn't matter. And then now you look back on it, and I really tried to live as much in the moment as possible, but I wish I could have done even more, because it'll just fly by on you. It's nuts. So
yeah.
On that happy note. So go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I was by way of segue, which I already kind of blew. But you know what really kicked off the holiday season for me was hanging out with you in person. Speaking of seeing each other at Buffalo Steak Pizza.
Yep.
And we did a show, and I mean, people were there. We had fans there. Hello, Ian. And there was
Downtown Girl, her real
Downtown
name.
Girl?
She gave the real name, but I was so like, she's one of the ones that want to give to, but I was too busy, you know, doing my shuck and jive because I felt bad.
Well, we were talking offline, and you were like patting your stomach and doing the thing or patting your head and rubbing your stomach, and that's I guess we should have thought of that, where maybe I should have taken the story duties, so you could have focused a little more on the logistics and the setup and the audio. But I listened back to it. The audio sounds really nice. You got the crowd noise, and people were enjoying it. We gave away lots of prizes, and Philippe, such a great guy.
Yeah, he's great. He's really great. So it was a lot of fun. It went much better than when I had Neil Giraldo on my other podcast, because that was like, I can't believe I was that dumb to agree to do that live. I did that live. And that
I watched that. And
that was a lot.
Well, I knew, and I know you so well. And by the way, you handled it masterfully. But I know you well enough to know there were some nerves there, and don't deny it. There's some nerves there because you're juggling. It's like you're carrying all this and all the balls in the air. And actually, I feel bad because I think at one point I might have was going to come over and kind of help you with some stuff on that one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we talked about it, but it
something
just
came up
happen.
where I couldn't get over there. But I want to tell you, I watched it, and that is one excellent interview. And what I love about it is you put him at ease, and I could see you were trying to like let him off the hook a few times, and he wanted to hang around. That's such a compliment to an interviewer.
Yeah, that was really nice. Really, really good guy. It's funny, and then we'll actually talk about this month's episode.
Yeah.
You get people. I was told by somebody who does PR for another act that Neil was hard to deal with, and that was absolutely not the case for me. He could not have been nicer. He was lovely. He was funny. He was so excited to talk about the Kansas City Sound. He could not have been easier. So I don't know where this guy got this information about Neil, because Neil was great, and since then he's gotten to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He has played on a ton of tracks that you don't even know he played on. Jesse's Girl. He's the guy that plays the guitar solo on that, and a million other things. So it was as a guitar nerd, a guy who has spent I don't know how many thousands of hours playing guitar since the mid '80s. It was so much fun for me. So
and I want to tell you, we both had some fun on our show. I mean, you got the guy in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Grammy winning artist. I've had a Grammy balloted artist, a musician on my show. I've had an Oscar winner. I've had Emmy winners. I've had New York Times bestseller. There is something so at first intimidating about interviewing people of accomplishment, but then what I love about it, especially if you do your job as the host and the interviewer well, you do your research, you know what you're talking about, is they begin to realize, okay, wow, this guy gets it. And while I may not be a direct peer, you're a peer to Neil in the sense you're a musician, you played guitar forever. I mean, he gets that. And when I talk to other writers, they're like, okay, Alex is not a best-selling writer, but he gets it. And that is the key, I think, right there.
Absolutely. You have to be interested in the subject. It's always, for me, it would come out like in the first 5 to 6 minutes, because these guys do so many interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the people that interview them don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So there always would be this recognition in their eyes, like, okay, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. And it would just it'd be like this big relaxation and stuff. So anyway, we don't need to belabor that anymore. I am so excited. It is 2024. This podcast has been so much fun.
Oh my goodness.
With my evil twin. We've had a great time, and I am not nervous doing this podcast. It's always just a total joy. So it is episode 10, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
Alex gave me the hint without a trace.
Sorry, I was late on that.
Alex is always good at giving me what am I going to do? So here, I want people to follow me. And then we can joke that Alex is much better at making the cocktail. We should do, what we're going to do? We're going to put a side-by-side of what your cocktail looked like compared to mine, because it's like night and day. It is like a high-end German beer and a Schlitz. That's what it's like. It's not good. So, all right. So I was thinking, without a trace, what do I want to do? So I have a cocktail book. I'm going through it. So I love To Kill a Mockingbird. I'm sure you probably do as well, the book especially, but the movie was good. And so one of the drinks, and I, of course, am a big bourbon guy, is called the Boo Radley. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, Boo was a guy that, he really left the world. He went inside and wasn't out for, I don't know how many years he was, and they didn't know who he was. Right. So Boo kind of left without a trace. And by that very tenuous association, I picked this drink. But this drink is got 2 ounces of bourbon. And I will tell you, do not use Buffalo Trace, because as we know, this episode is without a trace. So no Buffalo Trace for your bourbon.
Well played.
3/4 ounce Cynar, which is an Italian bittersweet. It's made from artichokes.
Artichokes.
Do you have this?
Artichoke liqueur. I do not, but I've actually tried this. I've had this drink served to me once. I couldn't believe you found it, because I was like, I've had this before.
It's a New Orleans drink, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, what a great town. I need to get back to New Orleans.
Oh, man.
If it wasn't going to sink under the ocean, I would probably spend part of the, every winter there, but it's kind of sad. Anyway, what was the original like at the bar in New Orleans? I assume it was quite nice.
It looked more like one of ours than the others. And
I bet it
that's why
did.
when I got that, I was like,
You have
But
a
the-
Fresca, my friend? What are you drinking?
but
That's what you were thinking.
so what I did, see, I didn't have the Chinar, and also I did not have the cherry hearing. So
Yeah.
I had some cherry stuff, and I had a little bit of Italicus, which is kind of it's not quite in the Amaro family like the Chinar, but anyway, and I had sweet vermouth, the red vermouth.
Yeah.
So I kind of made a kind of a quasi old fash out of it. But I'll tell you what, the first one, that's what I had today. But because I didn't have all that, and it's just, but listeners, as we record this, we are literally buried under inches of snow, both of us. So I did not want to get out. But I'll tell you this. The one I had originally, I just remember it was different. And then the bartender was like, "So, what do you think's in it?" I'm like, "Well, cherries, but I don't know what this sharp, weird taste is." He goes, "It's artichoke," and I about choked when I heard that. But it's a nice drink. It really is. I think it's kind of a weird cousin to a Negroni in a way, with that kind of that bite it has to it.
Yep. So so it has the 3/4 ounce of the Chinar, and then the 1/2 ounce of the cherry herring, which you just talked, which is the Danish liqueur. I did not know this, flavored with cherry. I'm learning so much on the show. And then you garnish it with a lemon or orange peel. Alex did it correctly. I put it up on Instagram. You can see his beautiful. It's a gorgeous drink. The only thing that's good about my drink, I have my guitars in the background. So if nothing else, take a look at my guitars.
That makes everything cool. I mean, seriously, that could have been a glass of urine, and there's two cards. Everybody's like, "Hey, look at those guitars."
I did it on purpose. Okay, so you're gonna take all these. You're gonna take all these ingredients. A mixing glass, you add ice and stir. I actually did that part, Alex. I want credit right here. The people can't, it's not a visual medium, but I used it, brother. I think you bought me this, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet.
And so it's the Boo Radley. I think it's time now, because we're both morons and dopes. We're gonna do a little. Let's recreate the scene. So we're gonna have, you got to first be Scout's dad, and then you got to be Scout. So I will try it first. It'll be terrible. I will be Atticus and then Scout. And here we go. And this is where my wife rolls her eyes. So for those people outside. So, Miss Jean Louise, I'd like you to meet Mr. Arthur Radley. Hey, boo. There you go.
You're not gonna believe this. The other night, it was on, and I caught it at just the moment when Robert Duvall playing Boo is right behind the door. Oh man, just it's a beautiful movie.
How many great movies? And then we're really going to start. Robert Duvall. Obviously, the Godfather movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's in To Kill a Mockingbird. He's in
Lonesome Dove, man.
Lonesome Dove, Tender Mercies.
Oh yeah,
he's been in so many great movies.
Secondhand Lions with Michael Caine is a delight if you haven't seen that. And his best cameo, however, is in the 1979 Philip Kaufman Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
It's at the very beginning, folks. He's wearing a priestly garment on a swing set. And there's just something weird about it. And you don't see him again the rest of the movie. Anyway, I love it.
And I just watched him in Four Christmases, which is kind of a dumb movie, but it's a Christmas movie. We watch it every year. He's really funny as the father in that movie. I don't know if you've ever seen Four Christmases.
Have not.
Vince Vaughn and what's her bucket? I don't think of her name. The woman that played the lawyer in All Pink. What's her name? She's Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, Reese. Yeah. Mm.
So, but he's the father. He's very funny in that movie. So he has range, I guess is what I'm saying. So
Definitely.
That's it. Down in the show notes, how to make your version. Make it correctly like Alex. Don't be a schmo like me that half-assed it. Do it right.
You picked a great one, though. You picked a great one.
It's really yummy. Even with my, I put amaretto in it. And triple sec. So
maybe you just invented a new drink that you need to rename.
Okay, let's think of a name.
Call it the guitar in the background.
No, feedback.
Feedback, or don't you fret about the feedback. It's a good one.
That's kind of cool. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, well, work on that. Yeah.
All right, brother. All right, so it is your turn. So for people who are joining us, and this is honest God truth, we do not know what the other person is going to talk about. It's an honest reaction. Last month, Alex was absolutely floored to find out that the Tylenol Killer has a Kansas City connection. He did not know that going in. I do not know what's going to happen. That's the fun of it. and we react and we go from there. So Alex, the floor is yours.
Sounds good. We're traveling back to the summer of 1989 in Kansas City. Movie audiences thrilled to an interesting new take on Batman. Indiana Jones and his dad teamed up for The Last Crusade, which it turned out it really wasn't. And Riggs and Murtaugh were back for more of the shit they were too old for in Lethal Weapon 2. So people went about their business with hit songs, including the Schmaltz Festum, Wind Beneath My Wings, playing on repeat.
Please no.
I know.
Don't do
The
it.
average summer temperature in Kansas City in 1989, by the way, I don't want to set you off, but it was 74.8 degrees. That was the average. And yeah. What is it now, sir? You know this.
Like
You got a good
130 Kelvin. It's
Something like
so
that.
fucking hot. You know that people used to get married in June because it was the nicest month of the year. Not anymore.
Now, forget it. Yeah.
October would be your best bet, but I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, getting married in June is like, going to Vegas in August and standing
Pretty-
outside.
Yep.
Yeah. So it sounds, but hey, in 1989, it sounds nice, huh? And no doubt it was. It was. But picture this. Overland Park, Kansas. Now, everybody's going, wait, this is a show about Kansas City. Well, if you don't know, if you're not from Kansas City, a major part of the Kansas City metro area was this serene suburb transformed, and it was transformed by this situation into this epicenter of a nightmare series of events. So I think I'm within my rights as co-host to say that Overland Park is part of the Kansas City oeuvre. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So if I were to go and stand on my roof, which I'm not going to today because we have a foot of snow on the ground, but if I were to do it, I look to the east, I could literally see Kansas City, Missouri. If I look to the west, I could literally see Overland Park. They're all contiguous. If you bring a person from out of town, they're confused where they are at any point because they're like, where are we? Are we in Fairway? Are we in KCMO? Because it's back and forth. So yes, we consider that part of the Kansas City region, and it's perfectly fair.
Okay.
Continue.
That'd be good. It'd be a short show if not. So again, Overland Park, a serene suburb, just best times at Ridgemont High, just it could fit in right there. Except it's in Kansas. All right. So over a span in 1989 summer of over 30 harrowing days, 3 women vanished, plucked from the sanctity of their homes. The abductions were as random as they were ruthless. One victim's last moment of normalcy cruelly captured by an unfinished slice of toast forever waiting on the table. This series of sinister disappearances cast a long shadow of dread across the Kansas City metro that summer. As the grim realization set in that a serial killer was at large, the hunt for the culprit ramped up with a pretty fierce urgency, as you can imagine. Search helicopter blades cut through the silence both day and night, seeking the shadowy figure and the women he'd taken, their whereabouts a haunting unknown. Well, the authorities at this point didn't know it yet, but they were hunting for an ex-con named Richard Grissom. Grissom's exterior presented a deceptive allure. He was the kind of man whose looks and charm could turn heads. A detective even once dubbed him a modern-day Don Juan, backed by a physique tuned for athleticism. Yet behind his beguiling veneer lurked a chilling history unknown to most at the time. In 1977, at the tender age of 16, Grissom committed a crime of such brutality that it to me defies comprehension. In the quiet town of Lansing, Kansas, after an argument with his parents, Grissom left home and attacked 72-year-old Hazel Meeker. Young Grissom beat her to death with a railroad spike he had used to break into her home.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Police followed footsteps in the snow, leading away from the crime scene, and took him into custody. He was sent away to the Kansas Juvenile Detention Facility for 3 years, eventually getting out in 1980 because he was a juvenile. So at age 19, he got out. So upon his release in 1980, he seemed to turn over a new leaf, at least in appearances, by enrolling at K-State, Kansas State University. His next move was to try out for the track team in Manhattan, where his penchant for stumbling earned him the moniker Rockman. So turns out track wasn't his forte, it seemed, but by October he had traded the track for the racquetball courts, quickly establishing himself as a formidable player. Alongside that, he clocked in hours at the local Arby's, slinging that roast beef.
He should have died of a heart attack.
That horsey sauce, I don't care.
So
That's
we
the
talk,
hell all night.
let's talk about racquetball. So racquetball was pickaball in the 1980s. Like I had a racquetball racket. Did you have a racquetball racket? Like it was a thing in the 80s.
My grandpa played it though. He loved it.
Well, thank you for putting me on.
He was good though. He would have kicked. He kicked butt. He was great.
But I guess what I'm saying is things change, but in some ways they really don't. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Well, no, it's okay. And you know what? Arby's hasn't changed. Although I was there, believe it or don't, the other day because my kid had a volleyball tournament, and we were out in the middle of nowhere, and the only thing nearby was this or McDonald's, so we chose Arby's, and they have a fish sandwich with melted cheddar all over it. I do not get the fish with cheese thing. Maybe you like it or you have liked it. I've never understood fish with just like cheddar cheese dripping on it. I don't like that. All right.
That's gross.
I did digress. Okay. So he found camaraderie and competition later this spring on the softball field. So he was becoming kind of a jock at K-State. So as a sophomore in 1982, he was on the university's roster as an aspiring architect. But his academic pursuits took a backseat when, come November, he pilfered $190 from a resume service in Manhattan. And by January of 83, he faced the music for this theft. And 2 months later, he accepted a no contest plea, receiving a suspended sentence and a 3-year probation. Remember, this is on the heels of, and I get he was a juvenile. He's already murdered somebody, a sweet little old lady, okay? But anyway, I'll continue. So his life kind of continued to oscillate between KC and Manhattan. And a year later, in 1984, a stolen Mazda RX-7 landed him in prison.
I had an RX-7. I wondered what had happened to that.
I was thinking, well, he went to big boy prison for stealing your RX-7.
Good.
Yeah. So he was there, but by June of 88, just a scant less than 4 years, he was out on parole with his past misdeeds shadowing his every step. So let's jump to the next year in 89, though. We find Grissom is 28 years old, and he's running a painting and maintenance company. He's, like I said, he's out of parole for the stint for burglary and theft, so he's no stranger to the art of the con. And he was really adept at weaving through conversations with the ease of what some would call a seasoned actor. He had a portfolio of aliases at his disposal.
Okay, give me some of the names.
Well, I'll tell you this. One of his aliases was T-Money, and the other one was Take Money, which I think the aliases maybe were not that bright, but I'm sure they mean he also had other names, but he was T-Money and Take Money.
So for people who are just joining us, we make fun of the murderers. We will never make fun of the victims, but we will have a lot of fun when murderers do stupid shit like this and name themselves Take Money.
Yeah. If we had another name for this show, it might be when evil people, do stupid, funny things. I don't know. But yeah, so T-Money, Take Money, whatever. The business was a calculated move on his part, though, when you think about having a painting and maintenance company, because what did it get him? Literally got him keys, quite literally, to the doors of Kansas City's many apartment complexes. Soon after this business of his got rolling, one by one, 3 young women vanished. Each abduction a terrifying echo of the other. So, and again, sensitive listeners, there won't be, horribly gory descriptions of anything here, but it is disturbing to hear this. But I'm going to go ahead and relate it to you. The night of June 18th, 1989 saw Joan Butler, a vivacious 24-year-old, enjoying Kansas City's nightlife before she returned to her Overland Park home, what was for the last time. The morning after painted a concerning picture. Butler's ATM card was active, performing a series of withdrawals around town, yet her rental car had vanished, as did she. Both family and law enforcement were at a loss over her sudden disappearance. So remember, that was June 18th. Fast forward a week to June 25th. The missing rental car surfaces in Lawrence, Kansas. That's the home of KU, not K-State. A vigilant Lawrence cop watches, only to see Mr. Richard Grissom near the vehicle. A simple request for identification triggered a flight. He ran, leaving a breadcrumb trail of his belongings, including a damning drop of Butler's blood in the trunk. So the plot thickens as the sun rises on another day, and two roommates, Teresa Brown and Christine Rush, both 22, join the list of the missing. Another cruel repetition. Their bank accounts emptied, and their last visual echo, a security camera capture of Rush, bruised and battered, a silent scream for help behind her sunglasses.
So he would take them around, make them use their PIN code.
And clean them out.
Yep, that's awful.
And Miss Rush clearly had been beaten, and she had big sunglasses covering her eyes. I've seen the picture. It's when you understand the context in particular, it's horrific to see the picture.
Well, these people would have been our age, Alex. If you're 22 in 1989, we would have been 21 in 1989.
I was 20. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 2021. You're right. Yep, you're right. Well, here's the thing. So Grissom does emerge as prime suspect when surveillance footage revealed him using Butler's bank card. But with no concrete evidence of abduction at hand, authorities initially slapped him with a theft charge. His whereabouts unknown, they turned to the public for leads. So simultaneously, friends of Miss Brown and Miss Rush recognized Grissom from a photo. They remembered him from a farewell party for Brown. She was going to leave.
Yeah.
And he was there at the farewell party. Detectives pieced together more of the puzzle when they discovered that on the day Brown and Rush went missing, Grissom had secured an additional storage locker with a woman posing as Brown. Okay. Shortly after, Rush was captured on bank surveillance making that withdrawal, right? Okay, so that's where they were. So by late June, the investigation intensified, as it should. A warrant allowed a search of Grissom's brown Toyota, revealing both women's credit cards and a knife stained with what appeared to be blood. Residents near Butler's apartment recalled seeing a similar car parked outside around the time of her disappearance. Okay. In late June, law enforcement received a warrant to inspect Grissom's car, that Toyota. And like I said, they found the credit cards along with that 12-inch red stained knife. And additionally, witnesses who lived near Butler's apartment said they had seen a car similar to Grissom's parked outside the apartment building in the days after the murder. Okay, talk about the dumb things here, by the way. Yeah, all right. This same vehicle was also spotted at the scene of an attempted abduction on June 12th, in which a woman named Michelle Katz was attacked in her bedroom by a man wielding a gun. After a struggle between Miss Katz and the man fled and sped off in the vehicle, according to a witness. Thank God she fought back. She survived. Not saying the other girls didn't, but this woman got very, very lucky to get away. So the storage lockers Grissom rented were thoroughly examined, yielding strands of hair that, when compared with samples from the women's hairbrushes, suggested a significant match. The homes of Brown and Rush held one last damning piece of evidence, though. Strands of male pubic hair, which tested against Grissom's DNA. They confirmed what everybody feared. It was a match.
So they had DNA back then, even.
Yeah, apparently.
I did not know that.
I didn't either, or if they did, how rare that they would have used it. But yeah. So Grissom, remember, they haven't caught him yet. So he's slipping into the shadows. He's leaving more behind than just footprints. His car was crammed with IDs, keys, and falsified documents, including 5 fake birth certificates and with official government seals. So the manhunt escalates. There's this dragnet, we'll say that, sweeping over Kansas City, searching for Grissom and, of course, the women, but to no avail. So there was a few weeks of silence, and you can imagine people were feeling mighty uneasy in Overland Park at that time. So around July 7th, the pattern of silence is broken. Grissom was supposed to meet a young woman from his past at the airport that day, but she tipped off police, leading to his capture at the DFW airport, Dallas-Fort Worth. Yeah, okay, there's another brilliant thing he did. These people. His arrest offers the community a mix of relief, but it's still overshadowed by a haunting question, my brother.
Where are the bodies? Where are these women?
Where's Joan, Teresa, and Christine? Where are they?
Exactly.
So get this, there's this bizarre twist. So around that time in late July, KCTV5 TV here in Kansas City received an anonymous letter promising the release of the three women in exchange for $1.5 million. A claim suggesting they were still alive and captive.
Sounds like the last asshole that we talked about, but
Yes, it does. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that one, folks. If you've not listened to our last episode, the live one, you got to go. That one's bizarre and has so many national implications. All right, but the letter was sent to Channel 5 was postmarked from Chillicothe, Missouri, with a return address in Brookfield, Missouri, which raised eyebrows and questions. Yet Lenexa Police's David Berger expressed skepticism, finding no substance in the demands or credibility in the letter's contents. Well, it took another turn when 21-year-old Gary Lewis, not Jerry, but Gary Lewis, but he was just as ridiculous, from Chillicothe was pinpointed as the author. Johnson County officials Johnson County is where Overland Park is if you're not from here, sorry. Johnson County officials quickly ruled out any ties between him, Grissom, and the women's disappearances. Then he owned up to the hoax, stating he was just after some attention. That's what we need, by the way, is to waste the cops' time when there's three people. What if these women were alive? This idiot's wasting the cops' time with this crap.
you're a special piece of shit to do.
You are a special piece of shit. Yeah, we're going to start the POS files, and this guy is Gary Lewis. You're in it.
Let's figure out where he is right now.
Right now,
where's that motherfucker right now?
Let's get him. Torches and pitchforks. But the court drama concluded with Lewis pleading guilty to falsely reporting a crime. Judge Gerald Hoagland sentenced him to a 1-year prison sentence and
more than that.
And a $1,500 fine. He wanted $1.5 million. He got a $1,500 fine for his ill-conceived grab for the spotlight. Okay, so that's weird, but that's kind of the thing we've observed, isn't it, Jamie? That when these things get really heightened and the community gets amped up, that you get people who want to get in on it and get attention,
which I have never understood.
Yeah,
it happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get that. I don't get people writing Ted Bundy love letters while he is and sitting in the jury or behind him while he's in, for multiple murders. I don't understand any of this.
That's just sick. Well, and stay tuned, by the way. You see, you're so smart about this stuff. Yeah. I hope you weren't looking ahead, but anyway,
I am not looking ahead.
No, I know you're. I'm teasing you, man. No, I mean, of course you would suspect that. You're a smart guy. But so let's go back to Grissom though. Let's get out of that little side car there. So they get him, right? They picked him up at DMW, and during interrogation. So Grissom was like Mr. Enigmatic. He was offering all these kind of vague but chilling statements. He actually told the cops, quote, "They're not dead," and then he later said, quote, "Well, they probably are by now," and then he later told them, "You will dig them up." But get this, Jamie. He added, everything happened in Kansas and nothing would be found in Missouri. Why do you think he did that?
Because they're probably in Missouri.
Grissom knew that Missouri had the death penalty, while at the time Kansas did not.
Yep.
Paul Morrison, who was the man who ended up prosecuting Grissom, called the killer.
I remember Paul Morrison. He was our Johnson County prosecutor for a number of years. I'm sorry, I never.
No, jump in anytime. That's the whole thing. You're the one you've been here longer than me. But he would say that Grissom is extremely intelligent. Actually, he said he was the type who could sell ice to Eskimos. In the end, Grissom, whose alias, as I said earlier, was Take Money, admitted to no specifics. So. Law enforcement combed through the rural expanses and dense woodlands all around the area, sparing no effort. They drained ponds and scoured open fields surrounding KC, and their goal was, singular: uncover any sign of Miss Butler, Miss Brown, or Miss Rush.
Because and despite poor families.
Oh my God! I mean, we have kids. I have a daughter. I can't even go there. But despite this exhaustive search, truly exhaustive, the three women seem to have vanished without a trace.
Boom. That's a drink game. Have a drink. Enjoy your Boo Radley right now.
And I'm doing so.
All right, there we go.
Tasty. The trial that followed was a story. Johnson County's first murder trial without what? Bodies.
Interesting.
The verdict? Guilty. A life sentence for Grissom. But the absence of the victims obviously left a void, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm sure many other people will agree, a lingering sense of unfinished justice. Yep. So here's an interesting little sidebar too. especially if you longtime Kansas and Kansas City area residents. So Grissom's case made the news during the 1990 Kansas gubernatorial election when Republican Governor Mike Hayden, who was up for re-election, used this case as an example as to why capital punishment should be reinstated in Kansas. Hayden argued that if Grissom had been sentenced to death for the 1977 murder of Hazel Meeks, then he would not have been able to kill the other three women. Well, this sparked a controversy as a lot of people, including former Governor John William Carlin, pointed out that Grissom could not have received the death penalty at the time because he was a
minor
juvenile. There you go.
Yeah.
Hayden would lose the election to Democratic opponent Joan Finney, but get this, capital punishment was later reinstated in Kansas in 1994. But it's not going to retroactively affect Grissom's case.
No, can't do that.
In 1998, to your point, it was discovered that Grissom had joined an internet pen pal group dedicated to those incarcerated. You're going to like this. Family members of his victims expressed their disappointment that such a website was allowed. Mr. Tim Butler, brother of Joan Butler, one of the missing women, wrote to the website operators and said, and I quote, "The monster Grissom forgot to mention his other hobbies, bludgeoning old ladies with railroad spikes and killing and torturing young women."
Mm-hmm.
Good on you. Good on you, Tim. In August 1999, a team of searchers from something called NecroSearch Inc., and I assume that means that they go and look for dead bodies, they scoured a landfill near Clinton Lake after theories about the women's bodies being buried there emerged. However, the search turned up no results. Here's some more fun and games. In 2010, the Wichita Eagle Daily newspaper, which I remember, erroneously it's still around, but I just remember it, erroneously wished a happy birthday to Grissom, who had turned 50 at that point. This was seen by many as inappropriate, but the newspaper agency responded and said, well, we didn't know who he was. We didn't, do that. And we've been the victim of a prank. And, well, in other words,
They sound like KCPD.
How are we supposed to know we were being taken for a ride? Yeah. So, so 7 years later, we're back to the more, serious stuff. In 2017, he was in jail, and Grissom was accused of passing a sexually explicit note to a female corrections officer. And while Grissom admitted to passing the note, he claimed the woman wanted him to. Well, she denied it, and Grissom was to spend 30 days in segregation. I guess he's in the hole, right? That's what they mean, right?
Yep.
And so here's the thing. As of 2024, Grissom is currently imprisoned at El Dorado Correctional Facility, which I drive by all the way. Every time I go home to Oklahoma, I drive past that city. It's got that creepy lake with all the trees. Anyway, it's an interesting place. Today, Grissom is 63 years old and will not be eligible for parole until 2093. Something tells me he won't make it. Jamie, this case reminds us of what we all know all too well here at Going to Killing City, and that these families of victims know all too well, is that sometimes the most terrifying monsters live among us, disguised in plain sight, their victims gone without a trace.
Yeah, I know we have fun. I know that we have a good drink and stuff. We are all about the victims and the victim's family. The murder of a family member, a child especially, but whoever, is the worst part. But I would say not knowing exactly where they are laying for all eternity has to be a close second. So
yeah,
to Richard Grissom, you're a dick, right? I mean,
at the very least,
that's what I would call you. Not Richard, you're Dick.
Very true.
Because you are purposely trying to, these people have been hurt so much, and you were trying to hurt them more with this bullshit statement about how they might be alive, or
right,
they may be in Kansas. Like, you're a piece of shit. I mean, you are. Sorry. And I'm all about justice. I'm all about following the Constitution. I'm all about going to court. I'm all about, in the court of law, I'm all about innocent until proven guilty. But in the court of public opinion, and certainly in my opinion, you are a piece of crap. And I'm glad he's never getting out. I hope he has a horrible whatever's going on right now in El Dorado. First of all, you're in El Dorado, Kansas. That's a shithole. I hope you're there. I hope you live to be 200. I really do. I just these people. I don't get it. Torturing people, beating to death an old lady. Who does that?
With a railroad spike.
Who does that?
And it does make you want to revisit juvenile offender rules too a little bit. If they beat someone to death like that, maybe they're just not a good bet for rehab. I don't know, but I'm not an expert on that. But I wanted to ask you something though. To your point, it would seem to me, and maybe this has happened, we just don't know, and it just didn't work out. I don't know. He's never getting out, and he must know that. And he clearly did it. Why doesn't he go and say to the DA, look, for a cushier location, certain perks, I know I'm never getting out. Give me some perks here at the prison where I get this kind of meal or this kind of job or whatever, TV, cable, whatever. If I get a perk, I'll tell you what I did with them. Why doesn't he do that?
I think because it's the last bit of power that he can still hold on to, which is sick.
Wow.
It's screwed up and not right. But, Alex, I've been really angry in my life. There's been people who really made me angry. And even in that point of anger, I could not actually physically kill someone.
No.
This person, there's a special place in hell for people who prey on someone who's not physically able to fight you off.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're such a big man, go fight in Dominican Sue. See how that works out for you.
Yeah. Good luck.
Go get your ass kicked. But that's what they do. They prey on people who can't defend themselves. It's horrible. And I feel, I don't have a daughter, but I have a wife and I have a sister and I have a mother. You're a horrible human. So I'm glad he's there. I hope I hope he lives a really long time and has a miserable existence. I feel so sorry for these family members of these three women, plus the elderly woman who died. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, but I know
Hazel Meeks.
Any of these people. This is horrible. And that's every family member's worst nightmare. So,
Hazel Meeker, age 72, when they lost her sweet little lady. I echo all of your sentiments you just expressed there. It's interesting about this show where the decades, even over a century of distance between some of these things, does make them a little more funny, I guess. But when I think back to the Swope case, how horrific that was and the suffering that went on there, and as much as we kind of go, you want to play the old-timey music and everything's just sepia tone while we talk about it, but that's still not, you know what I mean? It's just, I guess what the point I'm trying to make is that there's nothing ever funny about murder and what it did to people's lives who were around the murdered person or loved them or missed them and don't know where they are or what really happened. But I guess, just to point out about Grissom that the fact that it sounds to me like he could have gotten away with this had he not been so damn stupid and greedy. And I don't, you know what I mean? It's like there's a chip missing or something in some of these people because they murder like this, brutally murder people. By the way, that's always been funny to me, brutally murdered. I think all murder is brutal, but anyway, it's kind of like we rushed him to the hospital. Well, I would assume you would if they needed to go to the hospital. It's like people say, by the way, same exact or whole entire, and then I'm going off on a tangent. Sorry.
Oh, anyway, that's right.
Anyway, but my point is just that the thing that's funny and it may damn well be the thing, besides the fact that we do, as much as we criticize at times, we do have some very competent people in law enforcement. We do. I'm not saying uniformly, pardon the pun, but we do. But really what helps that along is usually the crippling stupidity or arrogance or both of these criminals.
Absolutely. No, I think Johnson County did a pretty good job on this one. It's nice to see I didn't fumble the ball on it.
Right.
But yeah, the arrogance of these guys, episode 10, I think most of these people think they're the smartest guy in the room. And we've had women killers, smartest woman in the room. Thank God they're not.
Yeah.
Thank God they get caught because it tears people. I think we have a lot of fun. I enjoy this podcast a lot. I think we're terrible true crime people because you and I are not. We are not ghoulish.
No.
We don't. Well, we're not interested in that. I'm much more about. I'm so glad that they got caught. I'm so glad that somebody figured it out. I'm so glad that there's rotting in the cell right now. That's what
Right.
makes me happy.
Right.
As a decent
Yeah,
human being.
I almost went off on that for just a second. I almost said that because I've listened to a lot of true crime. And by the way, listeners, if you love true crime, that's great. I get queasy just talking about these poor young ladies who have never been seen again they're gone without a trace. And part of me is just like, do I even want to talk about this? But you know what? I do want to talk about it because these people are gone, but should not be forgotten until there's evidence found where they are or what happened to them. I think we should keep talking about it. But and just like you said, Jamie, let's revel a little bit in how stupid these people, these murderers and these criminals generally are. But I do think it's important for people like us to tell these stories. But I do appreciate you. And it's one of the first reasons I said yes to doing the show when you approached me about it, because it's your concept, is you said, we're not going to be ghouls. We're not going to talk about little kids and we're not going to do stuff that just happened last week. It's too raw. And I appreciate that. And I hope I think our listeners do appreciate that. I think you guys do.
Absolutely. And I just will say this. I knew nothing about this. Like last month, you're like, I had no idea. I had no idea about this. So, if nothing else, Alex, I think we really are giving these people's names, Joan, and I'm sorry, it's hard to remember these. Who are the other? Teresa, right? Christine,
right.
am I right?
Yeah.
Give them a voice. They don't have a voice anymore. So I'm happy to give them a voice. And, if Dick Grissom, as I call him, ever shows up, we will let you know, because this motherfucker needs to stay in jail.
He does.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. So
anyway. And by the way, quick, since we're almost out of here, but updates on, I told you I'd keep track of the trucker from the episode Eastbound and Doomed, if you haven't listened to it.
It's a good one.
There's not been any movement. He is still in a cell, but I don't see any movement on the case. The wheels of justice grind exceedingly slowly. Oftentimes it works out. I was going to say too, as a thing to remind people, we remind everybody that if you want to know more, or if every time we do a show we refer back to one, if you're like, I don't remember that one, there's a great resource we've developed just for you. You asked for it, and it's the Killing City podcast website at killingcitypod.com.
Yeah, you did all that. So thank you very much for doing that.
No, well, we did all that. I wasn't asking you to say I did all
that. No, I give credit for where credit's due.
Well, I like building them and maintaining them. And by the way, there's contact form there and all that. And of course, we have an email. What's the Gmail again? It's
KillingCityPod@gmail.com.
@gmail.com.
Everything is Killing City Pod, people. If you can't remember the website or the email, KillingCityPod.com.
Right.
KillingCityPod@gmail.com.
And there's links to every episode, detailed show notes, including the cocktail recipes. There's extra links to go find out more about every case we talk about. There's a little bio about Jamie and me. There's also links to our other social media, your Insta, your Facebook. It's a great little resource. We hope you enjoy it. I'm having such a blast doing this. And I'm glad the listeners are too. I wanted to just add one final thing as a little bit of log rolling for me. This is coming out December 15th, right?
December? That was last month.
January 15th, right?
Yeah, January 15th.
He's the editor. He's like the producer and the engineer. He's not going to fix that. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
No. I'll put it out. I'll be done.
No, just leave it in there. Shit. No, but I was going to say is that right around then is the season 9 of my other show, PR After Hours, my business show. I got a great guy talking about sales and some other stuff as my lead guest. He's really good, really fun to listen to. And Mysterious Goings On, my other show about crime writing and mystery and creativity. You'll see new episodes for season 12 of that one.
My God, brother.
No, season 13. Maybe it's 13. Oh, shoot. One of those. It's coming out at the end of January, and I'm already swimming in publicists looking for slots. So it's going to be some good stuff. In fact, I'll show you Jamie just came in the mail today. 2 publicists sent me 2 books to review for the show.
Oh, that's nice.
It just keeps coming and coming and coming. So I'm just having a good time. What's up with Trading Fours, brother?
Trading Fours is back in March. I am going to NAMM, the National Association of Music Merchandisers, in the end of the month. I'm hoping for swag. So if you're listening to this and you're going to NAMM and you are Yamaha or you're ESP or you whoever, you want to give me a free guitar, you want to give me whatever, I will take it. I have no shame. I will take free crap. So I'm doing that. And then Lincoln, Nebraska's in my hometown. We went to the same high school. He graduated right before I started, so I did not know him in high school. But Matthew Sweet, who is a phenomenal kind of an indie guy from the 90s. Girlfriend was his biggest hit and album. He's coming back on Trading Fours. He will be our first episode coming back because he's coming to Kansas City. I don't have the date in front of me. I'll put it down in the show notes, but he's going to be back here. He's doing a tour. And the first stop on his tour is here at Kansas City at the Madrid Theater. We're Lincoln boys. We hit it off last time. I assume we will again. Yeah. He's a super cool guy. I knew people who knew him. Mm-hmm. He went to University of Georgia to college simply because he had run into the guys in REM and they'd said, hey, go to Athens, Georgia. So he did. Right. And the rest is history. Super nice guy. He actually lived out in California forever. He is back. He lives in Omaha now, but great songwriter. And he does these really cool albums where they do covers with my girl and probably your girl and every Gen Xer's girl on the planet, Susanna Hoffs. I don't know a Gen X man on the planet who did not enjoy Susanna Hoffs back in the day.
Wow. Yes.
And have you seen her lately? She looks like she's 45.
Yes.
At the most. It's insane.
At the most. She's
so yeah, that's come back. That'll be in March.
Luminous. She's a luminous woman.
But I'm traveling a bunch, so I got
trips. Did I mention this in the last real quick? I think I did, but that I went to the Bob Dylan Center in Tulsa. Did I mention
How was that? I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff there. How was it for you?
It was fantastic. I'm a big Dylan guy, and it's just well done. It's part of the Woody Guthrie building, the center there. But I went with a buddy of mine, my buddy Keith, who also a fan. Anyway, it was a great road trip. I recommend it highly. If you're in the Tulsa area, go to the Bob Dylan Center. You won't regret it. It's just, you could be immersed in that thing for hours. They book you in 2.5 hour slots to keep people moving. I'm not saying it was just super packed, but I get why they do that just in case. But we had plenty of time, weren't rushed, and just audio, visual, beautiful things to look at. And I was going to say that same trip though, my buddy, he had a surprise for me. He's like, well, if we're going to be down here, I got his favorite band of all time was playing at a casino nearby that night. And I'd never seen him live. I'd liked him when I was in junior high. Styx. And I want to tell you something. It was one of the best live shows I've ever seen in my life. Styx. I'm not kidding. They were really, really good.
No, it's good. They got JJ and they got
JY.
Yeah. And they got Tommy.
They got Tommy. But they've got everybody else, I believe, because Dennis DeYoung stopped 20 years ago.
At least.
With them. Yeah, they had enough of him.
Dennis DeYoung should have been a Broadway guy.
That's what he wanted to do.
He's totally a Broadway guy. He's totally a Broadway guy. He's not a rock and roll. And no aspersions. Some of the best, Jerome Kern. I could name 1,000 names. I won't bore people to death. There's nothing wrong with being a Broadway guy. That was like his thing. He should have done that. That was his oeuvre. So
that's kind of what I got. And the guy they got replacing him for, I forget his name. He's been there with him 23 years, something like that. He's tremendously talented.
He's been on Trading Fours, brother.
Wait, that guy's been on Trading Fours?
Lawrence Gowan has been on Trading Fours.
Okay, I did not know when he was on who he was, but now that I saw him, I've got to go back and listen to that because, Jamie, I could not take my eyes off that guy.
He's a phenomenal musician.
Oh, he could play everything.
Yep.
And he jumps around the stage. Where does the guy not that he's super old, but where did he get the energy? But he's just a brilliant. Man. But Jamie, when you go see an older band and like their voices are ragged, the harmonies suck, and they're going through the motions. Not the case with Styx. I'm just telling you.
There's a lot of people who still do it. I saw Mike Reno and Loverboy. Mike Reno can fucking sing still, man.
I just never liked what he's saying. I just never liked anything he's saying. I'm not saying he wasn't talented.
You hate Canada. That's what I just heard.
I love Canada. Whatever.
But I'm just saying, like, obviously, Ann Wilson on Heart really sings well. Pat Benatar can really sing well.
Yes.
Obviously, Mike Reno can still sing well. I appreciate the people who like treated their voices right. I don't care if people love me or hate me. I actually like, to me, Van Halen was Eddie Van Halen. That's who Van Halen was as a guitar player. Sammy Hagar is 76 or 77. He can still sing. If you know how to treat your voice right, you can still do it, which is cool. All right. Good to see you. This is a good one. Appreciate it.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now, you call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.